Greetings. I'll take this off. Hi, it's Deborah here, and I want to talk briefly, just share a little bit of a story with you, see if you can resonate. When I was younger, I remember I probably was in my late 20s, and I remember one time going to a religious service, and it was in the evening, and I remember it like so distinctly. I was walking into the building and there were people walking in with me and there were people all around. And I literally felt like I was in a glass box screaming at the top of my lungs and no one was hearing me. This had come after many years of trying to express myself, trying to ask for what I needed, trying to support others and what they needed, and just feeling like it was all for naught. Like all of the energy that I put into it wasn't for naught. And unfortunately, that really was my religious experience. The time I left, after having a breakdown, because I definitely needed support and never received it, it made me, well, there's a lot of things that it could have made me, but the meaning that I chose to take from it was that I was determined to be someone who heard myself and to be around people who heard me. And I've kept to that determination. It's not always easy in the world that we live in, that's built on suppression and violence and domination. But that is something that I've kept true to. Because when you say, hey, I need another pair of hands to lift and move this table. And people hear you and they smile and they nod, but no one offers a pair of hands to lift and move the table. That happens enough times, you start to wonder, maybe I'm supposed to move the table by myself? I know they heard me. I know they understand the language I'm speaking, so why are they not responding? Well, unfortunately, that is one of the ploys of many mainstream religions. I'm never going to say all because there's always exceptions to every rule, right? But I will say that many mainstream religions, including the one I was in, use suppression and ignoring and silencing, especially of women, to operate and to function. So any system that uses suppression or silencing of any of its parts to function is not a system that I want to contribute to. I'm not going to judge it as bad. It is in its own current stage of development, but I don't want to contribute to that. The damage that did to my self-esteem, my valuation of myself, and the worthiness and the validity of my needs and of my voice, it was extensive damage. Thankfully, it's being repaired. And I'm very, very grateful that I went through that experience because it gave me such insight and such capacity for compassion that I would not have had. And there are many experiences that are far worse that I didn't have, that maybe I'm anemic in my ability to have compassion for people in those situations. But for this particular situation of speaking up, of speaking your truth, I don't like to use the word speaking your truth, but speaking what is important to you, what you need, is something that I really, really, really can relate to. there were so many versions of it. Sometimes I saw little old ladies that really needed connection and support and attention and didn't know how to ask for it. So they would complain about their ailments, or they would find a way to have something wrong with their plumbing, or in some other way look for some ways to get attention and connection met. Whereas for me, it would have just been so much more enjoyable to give to them had they just said, I'm really looking for some company. Do you have an hour this weekend to share? That would have been such an easier response. But they too went through their whole lives often not being able to ask for what they need. So I hope that in my work, I helped people to break those generational cycles of being silenced for whatever reasons it may be. And more importantly, to learn how to ask in ways that are loving, respectful, joyful, easeful, so that other people can have the joy of giving to them. I'm going to get on my soapbox just for a moment because I want to kind of balance out. We started out talking about religious trauma. I want to say that the world is turning not because of money, not because of our economic system, as in capitalism or market economies. Like, that is not why we are alive and functioning. Okay? We are alive and functioning because of what I call the gift economy. That is how babies get to be adults, is because of the gift economy. Because of selfless parents, teachers, mentors, friends who support these babies until they become adults. Otherwise, we would have all been dead. If we had to pay rent to our parents, if we had to pay for food, meals, cleaning, chauffeur services, laundry services, medical services, if we had to compensate our parents financially for everything that we received to function, none of us would be alive. Everything that we actually need to live is a gift. The air we're breathing, the land we're standing on, the water we drink, the fruits and vegetables we eat, the fruits and vegetables that the animals that we eat. However you look at it, we are alive because of gifts. The fruit, the vegetables, the soil, the trees, the rivers, the oceans, the wind streams, the mountains, they're all there. We didn't earn those. So in this gift economy, the currency is not, well, money can be one of the currencies in the gift economy, but it is for sure not the only currency. The main currency of the gift economy is gratitude and reciprocity. Those are the main currencies of the gift economy, not yen, euro, dollars, or naira, or any of those. So, gratitude for what we have received as gifts, and reciprocity meaning us understanding that that gratitude can be paid forward. That's what makes the gift economy run. And when we understand that money is one of many different forms of capital in that gift economy, we also have living or natural capital, which are all those things I mentioned: the trees, the air, the water, the land, the soil, and so forth. We have material capital, which are things like bricks, wood, metals, and so forth, buildings, that kind of thing. We have social capital, which are our relationships. We have cultural capital, which are our histories, our things that we see in museums, our music, songs, uh, those kinds of things, poetry, literature, that kind of thing. We have our spiritual capital, which is our belief systems and our rituals and practices that are focused on things of a divine nature. We have experiential capital, which are the experiences that we enjoy, places, foods, movements like a roller coaster, uh, those kinds of things. We have intellectual capital. Oh, experiential capital can also just be the wisdom that we've we've collected from the experiences that we've had. Intellectual capital, our knowledge, our skills, our abilities, though all those things can come under many of those. There's an overlap between the different forms of capital. I think I got all of them. Intellectual, experiential, social, spiritual, cultural, natural, material, and financial. Yeah. So those are 8 different forms of capital that we can start to think about and understand that we're always transacting that. We're always interacting and exchanging. Transacting is not my favorite word. It works, but it's not my favorite word. I prefer exchanging, right? We're always in exchange. So, our children come and give us a big hug, and we experience that as social capital or experiential capital. It brings us joy. And that's our children giving as an exchange of whatever we did for them that they appreciated, right? That gratitude that feeds reciprocity. So why am I sharing this now? When we are learning how to communicate effectively with people so that we can meet our needs in a way that's joyful and easeful, it's really important to understand that we bring so much more to the table than just one form of capital that's been over-centered. It is a form of capital, it is important, but it is far from the only. And we start to think about how can we, what other ways are we already rich in capital that we share and we exchange with others. This is a big piece of starting to lay a foundation that's more healthy for the way that we can ask for and receive what we need. And even support others in asking for and receiving what they need. Because when you understand oneness, when you understand the rules of the world we're moving into, the era we're moving into, which is interdependence, we understand that our well-being and our joy and success are directly connected to the well-being and joy of success of others. So, on that note, I want to remind you, if you didn't know, on Wednesday, July 30th at 6:30 a.m. Pacific, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, and I think that's like 3:30 p.m. Central European time, we will be diving into that topic in a community discussion called How to Ask for and Receive What You Need. I would love to see you there. It is accessible. It is pay what delights you. So no excuses for not coming. Most importantly, it's co-created. So I'm going to bring some of my insights as a communications expert and as someone who has a lot of lived experience to share around these things. But that's only one small piece of it. I also want to hear from you. I want us to engage in discussion that is generative and joyful, and leave with insights specific to our unique situation, and also more generally how we can be supportive of more effective communication in our communities, in our companies, in our families. All right? So would love to read your thoughts in the comments. And if you'd like an invitation to that discussion that's happening on Wednesday, just comment, communicate, and I will send you over your invite. All right. Looking forward to